Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4 of the Coach's Corner. We're going into week number 4. Week number 3 was not very good for our Bayhawks. Matter of fact, we're going to talk to Coach Adam Leonard a little bit about that here shortly, but it was not the best. Now, some of you can see that I've got a soccer shirt on. You know, Uncle Mike's not just a supporter of Bayhawk football, he's a supporter of all Bayhawk sports, but especially soccer. My daughter Sarah plays Bayhawk soccer, and I was at a soccer game before I came here to take care of my interviews. All right, let's talk a little bit about last week. Anacortes absolutely crushed us. We couldn't get our motor started. We're going to talk to Coach Leonard here shortly about what happened and where we look for Archbishop Murphy coming up Friday night down in Mill Creek, and that's going to be a battle. I'd like to thank my sponsors, and you know who they are. JB Formalwear, Bell Bridal, of course, Mission Motors, and Pacific Rim Orthopedic Surgeons. We love those guys. We appreciate them. And I know the words just got out, but Lewis Auto Glass has been stolen. They've been sold and are now going to be a brand new name that I'm not going to use because they're not going to be one of my sponsors yet, but they will be by the time we're done. All right, Uncle Mike will be right back with an interview with Coach Leonard. We're going low key this week for week 4. Week 3 was a little sore. Thanks again to Zeke's Pizza for letting us have a great week 3 show. If you haven't seen it yet, it's up on our site. Go look at it. Thumbs up, like us, send it out to everybody, subscribe, and we will have football up tomorrow. All right, I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Coach's Corner. Uncle Mike here with Adam Leonard. So we talked a little bit about last week, and I don't really want to talk a lot about last week, but I think that the scheduling gods kind of weren't very nice to us. Do you agree?
You know, there's a lot of truth to that, Mike. Definitely. We have to play the number 1 team in the state last week, which was a tough game for us. You know, we learned a lot about last week about us and kind of got hit in the mouth a little bit, and we have to come back and play the number 2 team in the state.
Which could be the number 1 team in the state.
Which could be number 1.
Archbishop Murphy's like playing a junior college.
I would go a little further than that. I feel like we're preparing to play PLU.
PLU, there you go. So. Yeah. So tell me, let's talk a little bit about last week. I mean, it's one of those ones, as we've talked about in years past, we're just going to flush it. We're just going to let it go. But a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties, a lot of things that just did not look good. Ben struggled. We just couldn't get the motor running. What'd you see? Tell me what you felt. I know you weren't happy.
Well, I wasn't happy. Yeah, I wasn't happy about the way we moved the ball. We came out defensively when we tried to stop their passing attack, which we held their quarterback, who, he just got offered a full scholarship at Washington State University, so he's a heck of a quarterback. We held him to his lowest performance in a long time, but we couldn't stop the run. Right. We needed 2 more guys in the box to stop the run.
Right.
And so we needed a little bit better job this week. We're going to try to stop the run because that's what Murphy likes to do this week. Offensively, couldn't get things going. We couldn't run the ball. We ran for negative yards. Couldn't get things really going in the passing game. So we definitely need to improve upon that this week. And last year, against Murphy, we put up close to 300 yards.
Right.
A lot of that was in the second half. A lot of that was a nice combination of Ben Leonard and Joe Harward. So we're hoping to see that again, as well as others, and get everybody involved and get the run game going a little bit too.
Yeah, and one of the things that is unbelievable about Archbishop Murphy is their size. Right. They've got some unbelievably big fellas. I mean, you've got a running back that's over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, their line is like the Seahawks, Dallas Cowboys maybe, I don't know. But tell me, how do you combat with that? I mean, our guys aren't going to size up. The mental side of it's got to be huge.
Well, we have to kind of put that. We know that they're a tough team. We know they're going to be physical, but they do have. Every team has vulnerability.
Yep.
And there are things that they're vulnerable to, and we're going to try to exploit that. And I think as we get into this game, we are just going to come out and we want to just be more competitive. Win, lose, or tie, we want to be more competitive this week, so it carries into the meat of the season. I've told the boys, since the Anacortes game, everything that we want to do is in front of us.
Right.
The opportunity, and we have had, this is probably, in my 4 years, this is the best opportunity we've had to go to the playoffs.
Right, 100%.
And it's all in front of us.
Yep.
And, it doesn't necessarily need to have an Archbishop Murphy win, but regardless of that, we need to go there and be more competitive. We're 2-0, we got hit in the mouth, It's time to respond. Like I said, win, lose, or tie. How competitive we can be going into basically the meat of our season, where everything we need to accomplish what we want to accomplish, which is going to the playoffs, is right in front of us.
And that's one of the things, right? We knew that we were going to have losses this year. We weren't going to go undefeated, right? I mean, that's realistic, right? But to start the season off 2-0 and be in a very good spot, and then get beat by a team that is going to play in the state playoffs, and then to play another team that could beat the team that beat us in the state playoffs. I mean, that's it. That's easy to come out of here, two wins, 2 losses, and then go into Granite Falls the following week and look at a different part of the schedule. I mean, I think we can win the next 3 out of the next 5.
Absolutely, and we thought about that when we saw our schedule. We know we need to be, and we're going to compete hard. And I'm not saying that it's not on the table. Crazier things have happened.
Right.
If you remember baseball season, Burlington outscored us 31-0, and we go into the playoffs and we beat them.
We beat them. No, right.
So things can definitely happen. We have prepared really well this week. I think the boys are focused, and they know they have a tough battle, but we're going to see what we're made of, because, like I said, whether we win or lose, how we play is going to carry into that game against Granite and to that monster home game back in our red uniforms.
That's right.
Against Burlington. And right now, Burlington, if you look at the playoff, they're in the playoffs right now.
Right.
And they're a team I believe we can come in and knock off, which would move us into that spot.
Right.
So it's all right in front of us. The boys just need to believe and keep competing each week. The one thing is, when you play teams like Archbishop Murphy and Anacortes, you are battle tested.
Right.
And I don't think we'll ever see teams that tough in the playoffs once we get there.
No way.
Unless we play them again.
Right.
But because
in the semifinals. I mean, that's where it'll be, right? Semifinals or finals, somewhere down that road, right?
Exactly.
So tough to get the motor started last week. Not a lot of touches to a lot of guys. Ben struggled at the quarterback spot. How's he feeling? I watched him last night. He was, puking and rallying. I mean, it reminded me of some of my old college buddies. But how's he feeling?
He's feeling fine. I think he's really focused in on what we need to do. I think what we did change is we changed kind of how we're going to get the ball out quick too.
Yeah.
Anacortes was bringing their linebackers every play, which gave us no time to throw the ball and no time to run routes, and it kind of threw everything off a little bit. So we're prepared to get pressure, and we're prepared to get the ball out and get the ball to our playmakers quick. So recall last year we put it on 200 and some yards on these guys through the air. So it's something we'd love to repeat tomorrow, and kind of slow the game down to a little bit of our pace. And just going back to the Anacortes game, keep in mind Anacortes has scored 42, 55, and 68, and they scored 55 points against the team, Seaholm, who's like number 4 or 5 in the state right now. So
right.
It shows
exactly.
Shows you kind of where they are too.
And our defense did a very good job stopping some of their fantastic players, guys that are signed to go play D1 football. So, I mean, we didn't have a bad showing. We just maybe didn't get off the bus early enough.
There's a lot of truth to that, Mike. Yeah, we definitely did do that. But someone, we mentioned Luca Moore. Joe did a heck of a job stopping and really shutting down Luca. And our goal was to shut down the pass attack. And for the most part, we did that.
Yeah.
We just gave up 380 yards on the ground.
Right.
And we had some, and then it kind of, sometimes your confidence, you lose that, and you get some special teams gaffes that we had where we dropped the ball, and it just doesn't help.
Just little miscues.
Yeah. And the snowball just keeps gathering steam down the mountain,
and down Alabama Hill it comes.
There it comes. So, that happened, but you know what? We flushed it. It's whether you lose 68-0 or 50-40, it's still a loss in the column, and so we need to move on from that and have a better showing this week.
So tell me what Archbishop Murphy's going to do.
Archbishop Murphy is going to run their wing tee. They're going to run behind their big offensive line, and they're going to tell you, we're going to run it here. You better stop us. Yeah. And guess what? We're ready to stop them.
Yeah.
Now, we might be more vulnerable in the passing attack, but my goal as a head coach is to stuff the run so much we force them into a spread.
Yes.
And then once we do that, we know we kind of give them out of their element a little bit. And we believe we have some tremendous athletes, and Matthew Steele and Joe Harwood, guys that play out corner that can guard some of their guys. Yeah. We just need to stop that run, kind of like we did the first play last year. Yeah. And if we do that, I think it kind of throws them off their game plan. Plus, they have a new quarterback. They're going to have a backup center. They're going to have a backup offensive tackle. So they had a couple of ejections against Swallowton last week. So those things that will open up. There'll be new guys, and we want to exploit that. We want to go
100%.
I love going after backup centers.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Josh Kroll's going to have some fun with that.
He will have some fun with that. All right. So we're going to flush last week. We're going after Archbishop Murphy, and then we start a little easier of the grind throughout the schedule. And we'll talk a little bit more about that next week. Sure appreciate you. Thank you so
Mike.
much.
Appreciate it.
I know it's been tough this week, but thank you.
We're ready.
All right.
Thank
Hey,
you.
I'll be right back.